Yesterday in downtown Springfield, there were about 1,500 people marching through the streets. And that's the estimates provided by the Illinois Secretary of State Police. And what was happening was both sides of the debates over abortion were taken to the streets of Springfield. I was there, able to talk with various people. Let's hear first from the counter demonstrators who were there. There were only about, I would say at the time I talked to them, maybe 24 people. It grew a little bit as time progressed, but here are some of those voices that you'll hear, including from Peoria, Heather McMeekin, from Springfield, Shatria Smith, and from, I believe, Swansea, you have Jessica Monsignor, and they talked about what they want to see happen when it comes to abortion access.
We are here today to stand up against the extremist radicalization of our youth by these right-to-life groups that use stochastic terrorism and false narratives and lies against us and our bodies and our sisters, and condemn our women and our children to suffering by encouraging them to learn the tactics of abuse and marginalization. They dehumanize us as human beings already here. They encourage people to hate on us, and then they target us online. Former paramedic and EMS instructor, this is not hyperbole to me. I have lost women patients to suicide because of unwanted and unplanned and even pregnancies that they didn't deserve because they were raped. I have held a murdered baby, murdered after a birth due to a mother not receiving the care that she needed and was just thought that she couldn't be pregnant, became psychotic. I have dealt with those concerns, and these are real, but what is happening here is not just against women, it's against queer folk, it's against gender justice, it's about gender enslavement, and it ends up causing us all.
I am here standing to make sure that I have a right to my own choice and a right to my own bodily autonomy. I should be able to make that decision. I think women the age of 10 that have been taken advantage of by men should have a right to make that choice with their family and their doctor. I don't think other people have the ability to or should have the ability to enslave an entire group of people without a choice. So I'm standing here as the poet laureate. I've done a poem to support it, and that's why I'm here.
I am an 8-year disabled U.S. Navy veteran and a third-generation toxic water registry and victim of the Camp Lejeune toxic water, which killed my grandmother and my mother. Now, veterans and military women like me and trans men that join the military to serve all of the United States, not just Illinois, leave Illinois and go to places like Missouri and Texas, and they do not have the same right to health care. They are dying and suffering and being denied basic liberties and freedoms and rights our own parents had. We won't go back. We fought the Taliban for 20 years. Religious extremists are trying to do the same thing here, not on our watch.
So again, those were some of the counter-demonstrators that were there protesting for more access to abortion. Illinois does already have some of the least restrictions on abortion, and we got rid of parental notification, so minor girls can go and get an abortion without their parents even knowing about it. We have taxpayer-funded abortion. We have what some argue is open-ended abortion, where, depending on whether a doctor determines if it's a viable pregnancy or for the health of the mother, they can have an abortion whenever. So there's a lot of different laws that are already in place, removing some restrictions. So the counter demonstrators there just pushing for more access, or at least securing the access they have in this state. But that was again a small crowd of around 24 or so. A much larger crowd, estimated around 1,500, according to Illinois Secretary of State Police, gathered outside of the Lincoln statue. And here you're going to hear from Bishop Thomas John Paprocki, State Representative William Howder, who is an anesthesiologist, a Republican from Morton, also House Minority Leader Tony McCombie from Savannah. I was able to chat with her briefly afterwards, and here's what they had to share yesterday during their time on the abortion debate.
Governor J.B. Pritzker, Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, Attorney General Kwame Raoul, Speaker of the House Emmanuel Chris Welch, and Senate President Don Harmon, along with many others in Illinois state government, have unequivocally expressed their unabashed desire to expand abortion rights and make Illinois an abortion-friendly haven. Every year, over 10,000 out-of-state residents now come to Illinois for abortions, often at taxpayer expense. And that number has been increasing dramatically since June of 2022, when Dobbs was decided. In states such as ours, we cannot relax our pro-life efforts now that Roe v. Wade has been overturned. On the contrary, we must step up our struggles to counter the evil forces of death.
Unfortunately, they easily passed a bill allowing just about anyone in healthcare that wants to perform a suction or aspiration abortion to do so, despite the obvious complications that technicians are unable and unqualified to handle. The pro-choice side always says to us, safe, legal, and rare, but in Illinois, the pro-abortion radicals are in control. They make sure abortion is common, celebrated, and unfortunately now moving the laws to make it less safe than ever before. We see in this General Assembly a bill to silence and intimidate pregnancy resource centers. And I'll tell you, pregnancy care centers are the true pro-choice pregnancy centers in Illinois. The pro-choice side should be champions of pregnancy care centers. But look, we know their abortion centers give women one basic choice, while pregnancy care centers give counseling, medical care, diapers, formula, clothing, adoption services, maternal housing, abortion reversal treatments, ultrasound, STI treatment, abortion trauma care for men and women, perinatal grief support, and more importantly, the love of Christ, free to all, without $1 from taxpayers.
Whether it's taxpayer funded, removing parental notification, people are coming from other states to come here. So yeah, it's definitely it's no longer about choice, and I think, like Dr. Howder stated, it's not rare anymore, and that's too bad. There should be other options for young women or women that are in a position that they feel that they can't have a child. They should be given some help to make better decisions for themselves.
So that is, again, some of the larger crowd there, around 1,500 for the pro-life protesters versus those who were there as pro-choice protesters. Different ways to name them: anti-abortion groups versus anti-abortion regulation groups or pro-abortion groups. So regardless, a lot of people downtown Springfield figured I'd give you both sides of that, with an estimated 1,500 people downtown, if not more, when you count in the dozens or so that were there as counter-protesters. So that's just some of what happened at the Illinois State House, and we like to bring you the very latest here on WMA.